Thank you. Further debate? The member for Kitchener-Conestoga.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. I too would like to lend my voice in supporting this motion. I'd like to thank the member for Glengarry Prescott Russell for bringing forward this in his private member's slot. I think it's also important to note that the member probably read more recently one of our white papers, in fact, and I'd like to thank our members from Parry Sound, Muskoka, Halliburton, Corfe Lakes, Brock. In that white paper, we called for the Highway Traffic Act to be updated to actually accommodate these off-road vehicles like ATVs, specifically Argos, two-ups and side-by-sides. And so, of course, the member bringing this forward is important, but I too would like to thank those two caucus members for bringing that forward just only months ago. Speaker, I don't know if you've had a chance to get out and drive or ride on one of these ATVs or two-ups before, but I can tell you, as we've heard in the House today, Ontario has some of the best landscapes around the world to be able to ride these finest trails, in fact, that we have in Ontario with these fine vehicles. And in fact, they're made right here in Ontario. And I'd like to spend a bit of time just to talk about Ontario Drive and Gear, and they reside in my riding of Kitchener-Conestoga, a major manufacturing employer in New Hamburg, and they're better known as the manufacturer of the Argo. And I'll give you a brief little history. The Argo, or in fact Ontario Drive and Gear, initiated back in the 1960s when they started manufacturing the Argo. In fact, it started in Kitchener, but they grew so large that they had to move out to the New Hamburg area, producing Argos throughout its history. In fact, the Argo is world-renowned for its versatility and capability in traversing difficult terrain, but in 2008, the challenge of our lives arrived to help the Canadian Space Agency design a vehicle capable of withstanding the conditions on the moon, the lunar rover. And so I was honored to attend, and in fact spoke with ODG's chairman this morning, York Stuber, and I told him that I'd be supporting this motion, but more importantly, last year I had the honor of celebrating 50 great years of Ontario Drive and Gear and the manufacturing the Argo in Ontario. We'd like to thank Ontario Drive and Gear and their employees for the great work they've done over the last 50 years. I too have been contacted by many of my constituents in my riding asking me to support this bill. In fact, just this morning or this week, Mark Jeffrey from Kitchener, Rob Collin also from my riding in Kitchener, and then Keith Brown, president of the Great Lakes ATV Club, asked that I would support this motion, which I definitely will do. In fact, a lot of them voiced their concerns about the regulation, and I'd like to take the time to thank them for writing and emailing me on this important issue. Obviously the two-seater ATVs are arguably a lot safer, like an Argo. They allow each passenger to have a place to sit properly instead of squeezing two people on the back of a one-seater. We need to make these rules fair. We hear a lot about a fair Ontario. Well, I think that this is a step in the right direction. Of course, not only for pleasure, as ATV and Argo riders will welcome this much-needed change, and we ask that the government actually now moves forward with the change. It also will help businesses, farmers, golf courses, agribusinesses, recreational facilities like hunting camps, campgrounds, amusement parks make better use of these side-by-sides. Especially with warmer winter months, businesses and recreational riders are able to ride their ATVs year-round. And so for companies like Ontario Drive and Gear in New Hamburg and other manufacturers across this province, I'm sure that this will actually increase production of these vehicles and create good-paying jobs. So again, I'd ask the government to speed up this adoption of the motion. It's been 10 years too long. You have my support on this private member's motion and ensuring that we make the rules across the province fair. Thanks, Speaker, for allowing me to provide my comments on this motion today.
Thank you. For the debate.